Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Wayfarers of the South Tigris. So this is the beginning, the first game of the newest trilogy. So we have gone to the North Seas, to the West Kingdom, and now we are going down to the South Tigris. Last but not least, we will be going east. I believe that's probably going to be an Oriental theme. I could be wrong about that, but this is, from the same designers who gave us Raiders of the North Sea, Architects of the West Kingdom, Paladins, Viscounts, all super big hits, and all have been featured a lot on my channel, as well as Hadrian's Wall. So, this is says 13 plus, and I think that's pretty accurate. It's 1 to 4 players, so there is a solo mode. Almost every Garphill game that comes out has a solo mode. 60 to 90 minutes, which seems a little quick, but we'll see how that goes. And so you can see here that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of decisions to be made. From what I have been told, this is not one of their beginner games. This is not a game you'll want to start with if you're wanting to dive into a Garphill Games collection. If you're going to do that, it's my recommendation that you start with either Raiders or Architects. This one has got a lot of decision space. It's a huge tableau builder where you're going to be building out into I guess the Tigris is a river, but into the sea or into the land, and you can be adding space cards above you. So, your tableau can be like double thick, going right and left from your starting player board, all while you are attempting to move your player marker along this mat here and get to this one of these end points here. So, that's just a super brief overview of the game. Let's All right, well, that was unnecessarily difficult plastic wrap. So let's go ahead and crack this baby open here. All right, we have an advertisement for games on GameFound, and here we have the rule book. This appears to be pretty standard rule book for any of the Garphill games. There is a solo mode. Starts back here on page 20. And we'll see here in a minute that there are different variations of the AI to play against. And then on the back, obviously, an iconography guide. If you're familiar with any of the Garphill games, you'll know that iconography is a big deal on their games. You'll notice, however, that this appears to be a whole new set of iconography. Like their workers always look like this, and their coins and provisions always look like this, but then the rest of this is all brand new. Hopefully, though, that a lot of this will carry over through the entire South Tigris trilogy, similar to, I feel like, in the West Kingdom trilogy, once you played Architects, then picking up Paladins and Viscounts was much easier. They were adding some iconography, but some of it was still the same. So, standard rulebook, and then we have what I'm guessing here is 4 sheets of punch boards. So let's look at a few things here, because I'm going to guess that these are all pretty similar. You've got yourself provisions, you've got yourself coins. You can get the metal coins as an upgrade. Not sure how to get them outside of the Kickstarter, but I know I've seen them. I have metal coins from the West Kingdom trilogy, so I'm going to try and see if those work thematically before I go buying these. But so this is everybody's starting player board here, and then you're going to be building your tableau out this way, and we'll see those cards here in a minute. You're going to be able to take basically placing either a combination of either workers, little meeples, or your dice. And depending on the dice that you place, the pip number on them, you will get, it's going to equal either, say, a camel, or in this case, a telescope. And then you're going to be taking these tokens here and gaining these as the game goes along to put over top of, in a little kind of Tetris-style puzzle. You'll be able to lay them over top here, and these should, I believe, are like mirror images. So here you can see on this side of it, the boat is on the left. And on this side of it, the boat is on the right. And this one's a plus, and that one's a minus. So if you were to place this one and say you really wanted to hit on 2s or make 2 be anything, you would place it, say, right here. By covering this up, you gain the provision, but then from now on, your 2s equal a boat. Or, reversely, if you flipped it over and put the boat on this side, your 1s now equal a camel or a boat. Okay? And then if you look down here, your first 2 dice placement spots here, you have to have a camel to go here, and you have to have a boat to go here. So until you create yourself a setup that you can actually create a die to be equal to a boat, you can't even go here. But if you roll a 1, you could go here. Here's the telescope option. Now, obviously pretty straightforward here, but the camel option is going to gain you land cards. The boat option is going to gain you ocean cards and help you interact with the sea. And the telescope is going to have you interact with the space cards or the sky cards that are going to go above each of these. And then your little messenger pigeon, the only thing I know of off the top of my head that this allows you to do is instead of taking one of the cards, the 4 cards that you see out in front of you, you can draw the top 3 from the deck, choose one, and I don't know if you discard the rest, but and then you can see down here there are 2 options. If you are stuck, if you didn't roll, say right off the bat you rolled nothing but 3s and 4s that are just sitting here in the middle, you have the ability to say gain a townsfolk card or provisions, or this is possibly one of the most important ones, if you don't roll well on your first turn, gain one of these green ones. So this little symbol right here means gain a green tile. Well, these are just singles, but at least you could put one down. And when you roll your dice at the beginning, say you rolled a 1, 3, and a 4, you could use your 3 here to purchase this and then place it in the 4 slot. Now all of a sudden your 4 off to the side before you place it now has a boat, camel, or telescope. So these are all the same. I think they might be, yes, they are slightly different. So if you look here, I'm going to punch this out real quick so we can compare easily. So if you look right here, this one has this icon here. Instead, this one has it here. So it appears that all of the stuff is the same. All the bonuses that you can cover up and claim are the same, but they're in different positions. And then on the back side of all of the player boards is the AI board. So they do this in most of their games. They utilize the player boards, and on the flip side have the AI boards. And to my knowledge, these are going to be increasing in difficulty. Some of their other games have just changed the way the AI player attacked the game. So that might be the case too. I'm not 100% sure, but there's a whole mess of stuff, but this looks pretty familiar based on a Garphill game solo AI, where you're kind of going around this track, probably similar to Paladins, and that helps you make a decision about which cards they're going to pick up, whole 9 yards. And then there's this symbol is familiar. So for this particular person, their special action is journaling. Let's see what maybe somebody else's is. Okay, so for this special action, theirs is pick up a townsfolk card. So maybe not increased in difficulty, but increase or changing the way they go about what their focus for the game is, which I really appreciate. Generally, I get to the point where I find an AI level that I'm competitive against, and I win some, I lose some, and that's the one I stick at. I don't just keep playing an AI until I can beat the most difficult one. But anyways, so there's those. These are, again, all the same. Not all the same, but the 4 things are pretty much similar. All right, so then here we have 3 parts to a board. Again, in Garphill Games fashion, they like to have nice, wide player or main boards. So this is your journal, where you will take your journaling action. The theme behind Wayfarers of the South Tigris is in the early 800s, not 1800s, but 800s. People in Baghdad, I think, the Middle East, were sent out to map the land 1 degree at a time. So they would go, 1 degree in the north, 1 degree to the south, east or west, and they would map the land along their way and journal it. So That's why they would map the oceans, they would map the land. The kings or whoever wanted to know how big the earth was, but they were doing this like on foot basically. Anyways, so this is the main component of the game, or how the game progresses, is that you'll be moving along this track. This is the beginning, this is the end. And the first person to reach one of these spaces not only locks up that space, but triggers the game end. Other than that, it could take any number of turns to get there. And then all these spaces along the middle, what's in black is criteria you have to have before you can, say, cross the line it's sitting on. And then anything you land on here in the middle is a bonus you get. And then these are all double-sided, and not based on player count, but instead just to give you a variety. So you could play on, say, we'll call this the B side, then with the 2 A ends, or maybe 1 B end and 1 A end. Again, just gives you some nice variety in the game. Also, around the outside here, I may keep these out while we're looking at the cards. You'll see that there are all of these spots here. There's going to be a card at each one of these locations, and you can place a worker on that card to take that action, but you actually have to leave that worker behind. So kind of like Raiders of the North Sea, where you place a worker and take a worker, but this one is place a worker and leave it. And then whoever claims that card, whether it's you or somebody else, gets that worker. So there will be times where you have 0 workers. You always have your dice, though. Here are our dice. They are, smaller dice. Dice this size always remind me of One Deck Dungeon, but these work just fine. They have a nice feel to them. The pips are clearly visible. And another thing that I really like about this is that the colors, the 4 colors, are clearly different. It drives me bonkers when designers create games where the player colors are just like 3 different shades of red or something. All right, and then we have some wooden pieces here. So as you can see, there's not very many workers in this game. This is not Architects of the West Kingdom. Each person starts out with a yellow and a blue. This guy can interact on land, this guy can interact on the water, and then eventually you'll gain green workers. But if we come back here to this board here, for example, the first person to go from here and the first person to journal who enters this space, there's going to be a green worker sitting there. They gain that worker. The next person that comes along does not. But again, as soon as that person who claimed it puts it out on the board, it's fair game for anybody else to pick up. And then you have these silver markers track your journaling, and then all these little stars, these little starbursts, are your influence. So you can place influence on cards that people have to pay you for to use, or you can place them into the temple things here on the end. Forget what these are called. But you can place them here. Whoever has the majority at the end of the game is going to get victory points, but also you can spend them here to take certain actions. Like here you can spend it to be a boat. Your die now is a boat. Or there's other times where you're going to have to spend the cost of, spend 1 influence off of here. And if you don't have it, then you can't take that action. All right. We have an insert. One thing I will point out, for those of you familiar with previous Garphill games, this box right here, the size of the box is the same dimensions as the West Kingdom Special Edition boxes. So this is bigger than what they had. They finally have gotten away from their smaller box size as their kind of core box. So this one is bigger. It already has an insert in it. I'll be curious to see as to whether or not they do collector's edition boxes for this one or not. But based on just what I have seen and pulled out, I don't think there's any way we're going to be filling up this tray. So it appears to have been designed to hold future expansions. So again, be very curious to see if they come out with a collector's edition box with this already being the base box. Also, you can see that I'm assuming that this kind of stuff is going to go into here along with your dice, probably provisions and coins, and then all of those cardboard tiles will fit into here somewhere. That leaves these 4 wide open for cards, and there's only this many cards. So easily enough room to sleeve your cards at this point and room for expansion cards. So
let's take a closer look at the cards now. So what you see here is the 6 different types of cards in the game. Just to get these out of the way real quick, these are the AI cards. It's a very small deck, but a very focused deck. And this is, I don't quite remember the solo rules 100% off the top of my head, but you know, this is, it's giving you a lot of information. And then I believe the thing I do remember is that whenever all 3 of one color, whether it's red or blue, comes out, that's when the AI is going to rest. So they could rest right off the bat after 3 turns, or they could rest, say, on turn 5. And resting, by the way, is when you take the journaling action. So there's the solo cards. All right. Then we have land and sea cards. These are, again, pretty self-explanatory, but there's 2 types of, well, there's several types. So you have city cards. City cards are going to give you basic worker placement spots. And again, most of them are going to take camels to interact with, but so you can see here as they get, this one actually has now cities with an observatory in it. So this means you need a camel and a telescope, and you know, this is like gain a space card and an influence in the blue minaret. Or then you have, I think, a city with a library in it. This one you're going to need to have the carrier pigeon, I think, along with the camel. And then you have your, say, vistas here, which give you instant action, and these give you instant actions too. So anything above the blue lightning bolt is going to be instant, but these give you ongoing effects. So, for example, anytime you take a star card or something with a star tag on it, you get to place an influence on a card. Or down here, anytime you take a comet card, you get a provision and move and inspiration. Or if you take a planet card, a moon, or the sun card, you get to take a worker off of somewhere. So there's the land cards. The sea cards are pretty much the same, but you'll notice there's 2 different borders on the bottom, brown and blue. These ones are like the open ocean, and these are considered harbors. Harbors, again, give you worker placement spot, or dice placement spots. Sorry, not worker placement spots. And these pretty much just give you instant effects, but very powerful instant effects. But the cool thing about the sea cards is that every time you continue to build them out, you line them up like this. And in this case, when you play this card, you will gain a provision instantly. But you'll notice that some cards, like this one, you know, only has a few. So if I had, say, this card here and played it next, that would not be wise because I don't get any bonuses. See, my lightning bolts don't match up with anything else. But if we come back to this first card, that lightning bolt matches up with black influence and influence on a card. So, and obviously, you're going to be putting all of your harbor and sea cards together on one side and all your land cards together on the other side. Above either side is going to be your space cards. So your space cards, again, here you can see here's like a 1 comet, here's a triple comet, here's the moon, and there should be a sun. There's like a super bonus. I don't know if it's a super bonus, but there is a bonus if you can get the sun and the moon. I thought the sun was in here somewhere. Maybe not. There's the sun. So if you can get the sun and the moon, and there's only one of them, one of each, so you may not see both of them, but if you can get somehow both of them, it's like a 7 victory point swing. Anyways, space cards are going to give you an instant action as well as end game scoring conditions. So this is 3. I don't quite know what that stands for, but this is 1. Oh, so this is 3 or something to do with your comments. This is 1 plus the number of planet tags you have. So think of terraforming Mars. All of these cards have tags on them, which you're going to be identifying. Times 1? anyways, end game scoring conditions on these base cards. You'll notice that these guys here have those tags as well. This is like a harbor with a library on it. This one's just a harbor. This one is open ocean tags. And we already looked at these Vista tags. City with library, city with observatory. So these are the type of tags I'm referring to that you'll gather in sets. Then you have your townsfolk cards. So these are going to be, once you purchase them, they're going to be slid under, and you not only have to meet the tag here, so you have to have at least a harbor card to get this adventure, but then they slide, and this, all the brown ones here say have to go underneath either land or harbor, whereas this guy goes under water cards, and the black one goes under, I think it's the Vistas that were black, yeah, Vistas. So you can't just park them anywhere, but these guys increase that action or that scoring ability. So it increases your engine when you take a particular action. So it's all about the combos with Garphill Games, which is one of the reasons I love them so much, is because by the time you start getting more and more of these guys into your tableau, the bigger, more powerful turns you can take. You can, however, only park one townsfolk under each card. So these guys go under. And then last but not least are your inspiration cards. These are kind of like, ooh, I've looked up to the stars and I am inspired. So these, I had them upside down. These will give you criteria that you need to meet in order to double the scoring bonus of a space card. So you have your space card here, you have your endgame scoring criteria. If you meet, say for example, you have 6 total comet tags in your tableau, you will double, and if you add this one, your 1 point per harbor set. So again, a way, if you can get the right set of cards out on your tableau, you can go gangbusters. All right, so that's basically all the cards. Last but not least, what did I do with it? I had, hold on. What did I do with it? I had a pack of promo cards that I had misplaced. Found them. Found them. All right, so these are really the only thing which I'm okay with. I appreciate people doing this sometimes, but mainly when Garphill Games runs a Kickstarter, all the upgrades that they unlock in a Kickstarter are going to be put in the retail version of the game as well as the Kickstarter version. But they do throw in these like promo packs. So you're looking at 1 space, 2 townsfolk, 2 inspiration, 2 land, and 2 water cards. Ooh, that's cool. So this basically is like anytime you take one of those tiles to increase where your dice go, you gain a provision. Here is, you can spend 2 provisions plus have these tags to get a land card and journal, like a journaling action. And these all have the stars in them, so you can designate what is a promo card in case you wanted to take those out. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Wayfarers of the South Tigris. So I'm going to take some time with the rule book, figure out how to play this game. Also, I will get everything back into the box. So the next video you see will probably be a reboxing video followed by a how to play video. If you're interested in knowing when those videos, when that content hits YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.